All right, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Let's talk about the elephant in the room first of all. The relationship between these sprint queens, okay? And we're also going to address the people who've been saying that SouFLoTV is the one that has been pushing this narrative. SouFLo, you need to stop. Stop finding negative things to talk about the girls. I'm sure they're all good behind the scenes. No one else is bringing this up but you. Well, I beg to differ. I have found British tabloids and many other US tabloids and Australian tabloids. Pretty much the whole world saw. And for those Jamaicans who are trying to make an excuse and say, oh, they didn't want to get too close to each other because of Corona, I want you to watch Athing Mu when she won the 800 meter. This is the first time the U.S. has medaled in this event in 53 years, and I want you to watch the celebration. She got hugs from whites and blacks and lefts and rights, and it wasn't only her. I want you to watch other races after that and watch how the athletes interact. It was clear to the world that something was very wrong. So I picked out two significant news articles. Listen to the title of this one. Pretty obvious. Ugly details emerge about Jamaican sprint queens. Do you know whose article this is? This was written by Sam Goodwin, a sports editor for Yahoo News. It doesn't get much bigger than Google and Yahoo. This is for Yahoo News. And the article says, fans couldn't help but point out the frosty atmosphere between Elaine Thompson-Herah and her Jamaican teammates after she stormed to gold in a 100-meter final at the Olympics on Saturday night. Thompson-Herah broke Florence Griffith Joyner's 33-year-old Olympic record in Tokyo, crossing the line in 10.61 seconds to defend her title and lead a Jamaican sweep of the medals. Jamaican sweep meaning first, second, third. Jamaica went home with the women getting gold, silver, and bronze in the 100 meters. Her fellow Jamaicans, Sharika Jackson, who moved to the shorter sprint for the Tokyo Olympics, took bronze at 10.76. But despite the Jamaican clean sweep, Fraser Price and Jackson didn't seem overly keen to celebrate with Thompson-Herah. This is Yahoo News. Fraser Price and Jackson stood away from Thompson-Herah as they waited the final results to appear on the scoreboard. Then they offered a cold and quick pat on the back when it was confirmed. There wasn't a whole lot of love there. Bruce McAvaney noted in commentary on Channel 7 News. Aussie Olympian Tamsin Mano revealed there is tension between the Jamaican teammates after Fraser Price recently moved to a different coaching stable. I think it's pretty obvious there's tension there. When Shelly and Fraser Price has left the coach after she won a gold medal at the World Champs, Manu explained. She wanted to be in a different training group for a reason. Sports journalist Mark Gatib tweeted, I don't think these other two Jamaicans like Thompson-Herah very much. That's pretty cold reception for her win from Fraser Price and Jackson as Thompson-Herah sits on the ground screaming at herself. A light tap on the back and moved on. Oh no. Maria Gottlieb said, I don't think those other Jamaicans like Thompson-Herah very much. That's pretty cold reception. That's a pretty cold reception for such a great feat. Right? And Paul Johnson says, exactly my thoughts. The reception was positively frosty. Tom O'Neill said, lovely moments for the Jamaicans going 1, 2, 3 in the 100. Fraser Price and Jackson absolutely ecstatic for their countryman, Thompson, winning the gold. As then he posted a picture of them standing away from her, looking up at the scoreboard, and he said, quote, absolutely ecstatic for their countryman Thompson winning the gold, trying to be sarcastic. Tom Steinfort said, geez, how much do these Jamaicans really hate each other? Cy Lloyd said, huge fan of how fuming the other two Jamaican sprinters were then. Gary Al Smith said, it is very clear that the Jamaicans don't like Elaine Thompson-Herah, and for that reason, I like her even more. I like bad boys. I like bad girls. I like winners. So, you see, this is not a SouFLoTV talking about it only thing. Thompson-Herah believes that the world record is within her grasp after her dazzling time on Saturday night, and it was the second fastest time in history, but Thompson-Herah reckons that she might even have annexed the late Flojo's mark on Saturday if she hadn't started celebrating so early in the race, which we all saw. It's a work in progress, she said. Anything is possible, said Thompson-Herah when asked if she could, set a new mark. And I think I could have gone faster if it wasn't for pointing and celebrating, really. But to show you that there's more in store. Hopefully one day I can unleash that, she said. And very classy. And she didn't say anything about the frosty reception she got from her fellow runners. She conducted her interview and she got off the track, right? Now, let's look at this other one. And this is from news.com, AU Sports, news.com. That covers sports, Olympic sports. The headline for this one, you want to hear the headline? The headline for this one is, how much do they hate each other? Question mark. Hyphen. Horribly awkward Jamaican 1-2-3 in Loom in 100-meter finals. Horribly awkward Jamaican 1-2-3 in 100-meter finals. How much do they hate each other? That is the headline. So again, for the people who are saying SouFLoTV is the one that's... No, the world saw this, my friend. The world saw this. And I felt some kind of way. Because if we were having beef, we could have had beef behind the scenes, but present a united front. The world finally has an answer to why this historic Olympic moment turned bitterly frosty between so-called teammates. That is what the headline said, written by Jay Bednal. Okay? And this is for news.com, published August 1st of 2021. Some will say that this is how you end up with 3 runners from one country on the podium in the biggest race in the world. Pure, unadulterated competitiveness. But there's more to the story behind the, at time, ice-cold reception that Elaine Thompson-Herah received from her teammates Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Shericka Jackson after she relegated them to 2nd and 3rd place respectively while winning the women's 100-meter. The Jamaicans made up the podium place with 2008 and 2012 champion Fraser-Pryce, 10.74, and PB running Jackson, 10.76, trailing Thompson-Herah, who ran the fastest women's 100-meter in Olympic history with a 10.61. Thompson-Herah's time was the fastest since Florence Griffith Joyner, whose world record are shrouded in infamy and concerns over their legitimacy. Well, that's a different story. They're talking about, well, she was given an opportunity to retire and bow out gracefully before they exposed her for doping, and she retired right when testing for doping was introduced to track and field. So, of course, people are saying Florence Griffith Joyner was on drugs and that's how she was able to break and set these kind of records. But that's not what we're talking about today. And for different reasons, the biggest threat to her record appears to be a bad girl too. I think it's pretty obvious there's tension, Aussie athlete says. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce left their coach after she won the gold at the World Champs, and she wanted to be in a different training camp, which is the same thing. So I guess this is about leaving the training camp. I guess this is about loyalty to a coach that took you so far to gold and then you left. I guess there was beef in the camp and she didn't want to train there anymore because she was probably no longer a priority. Since 2016, if you remember, Elaine was the person to beat. She was the sprint queen. She already had that double gold, which was gold in the 100 and gold in the 200. That was not necessarily celebrated in Jamaica's media because although Elaine was burning up records and the tracks behind the scenes, Jamaica itself, as far as its media goes, was celebrating its media darling for track and field in women's, which is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. And that might have had Elaine feeling some type of way. It might have also had Shelly-Ann feeling some type of way. Maybe like, oh man, I am the world's fastest woman. And if I train so close with somebody else, she's becoming a contender now. Now she is the woman to beat. I don't think we need to be training together. They're putting more priority towards her. Or maybe she's going to steal away my secrets and then be faster than me. Regardless of whatever it is, I want to hear Shelly-Ann one day address this. Not so much Shericka Jackson. Maybe she knows more than we all know. I'm pretty sure she does though. Shericka seems to be playing both sides of the fence. However, Shericka seems to be more on the side of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce than on the side of Hera. But here's the thing. I seen somebody said, bad mind, bad attitude, it doesn't get you anywhere. And when it's your time and God says it's your time, God moves everybody else out of the way. Look at the results of the 200-meter finals, where Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the fastest woman in the world, did not even medal. She came in 4th. And Shericka Jackson actually disappeared. I was told that she withdrew from the race. I was told, I don't know what happened, but she was not in the race. So, of course, Elaine went on again to create history with the 200 as she did with the 100 by setting a national record and her personal best record. 2 records. And winning, uniting again, defending again, double her 100 and her 200 meter title. So if there was ever a doubt that she is the new reigning sprint queen and the fastest woman on earth, this Olympics in Tokyo certainly proved that she is. The relationship between them, though, seems funny at best. Cy Lord says, huge fan of how fuming the other 2 Jamaican sprinters were then. Fuming, meaning they looked like they were upset that she won. It should have been a celebration of a 1, 2, 3. I understand you train hard. I understand you are competitive. I understand you are disappointed when you don't win what you set out to win. But this is a different level of the sport. This is not your local track meet. This is on the international stage for an Olympic game. And there's nothing you can do after you've gotten your silver and your bronze other than celebrate with the person who got gold because they were a part of the 1, 2, 3. You understand what I'm saying? And I thought I was going to see a lot of hugging and jumping around and yeah, just like how when Usain Bolt and the rest of the men swept it, 1, 2, 3, I thought I would have seen some of that flair, some of that Jamaican flavor. Maybe they wouldn't have been out there doing the Nolinga dance like Usain and all that, but they should have at least been hugging and congratulating each other with big smiles on their faces regardless of who won, because their country won. Jamaica won. At a certain point of the game, it is bigger than the individual, and this was that point of the game. B, Bridget O'Toole said that they are from the same country and yet I do not feel the love between them. Gary L. Smith says it is very clear that the Jamaicans don't like Elaine Thompson, and just for that reason, I like her even more. Mark Gottlieb, I don't think those other two Jamaicans like Thompson Herah very much. That's a pretty cold reception for her win from Fraser Price and Jackson as Thompson Herah sits on the ground screaming at herself. A light tap on the back and then move on. Jeez. All right. So listen. Thompson Herah said that she had not expelled the challenge for the Olympics title earlier this year, that she had not expected to challenge for the Olympics this year when she was bothered by a niggling Achilles injury. 2 months ago, I didn't think I could be here today, she said. And I remember watching her on Yendi, and she spoke about that Achilles. And she said she's a girly girl. She likes to shop, makeup, hair, heels. She likes to wear heels. She hasn't even been able to wear heels because her Achilles has been bothering her so much. And of course, that cast a lot of doubt in everybody's mind. She has an injury she's nursing heading into the Olympics. She's probably not going to place too well. Who finished third behind Fraser Price? She finished third at the Jamaican Olympics trial in June. I have something to say about that. I honestly think she was holding back on purpose. I think that coach said to her, listen, we're going to show them something. They trained in private, and they clocked Shelly-Ann's time over and over, and they beat that time over and over. And the coach said, when you go to the trials, just make sure you qualify. You don't have to win, but make sure you qualify, and don't give them 100. When we get to the main stage, we're going to turn on the 100. Remember, the coach has a point to prove as well, because he coached Shelly-Ann to gold before, and then she left him. Okay? And now he's coaching Elaine to gold and then double gold against Shelly-Ann, defending. So 2 months ago, she said she didn't think she could make it. But I held my composure. I believe in myself. I believe in God, and the team around me is very strong. I never expected to run this fast. Behind this 10.6, it takes a lot. I knew I could have run this time from like 2016, but I think I celebrated early too much in my career. But I knew it would come one day eventually. Now, shout out to the ladies. And this one is a big win regardless of who is not talking to who. This is a huge win for Jamaica. One more for the history books. We can talk about it's in the food, it's in the water, it's in the air, it's in their genetics, whatever it is. That little island of Jamaica, little, but them talawa for real. Leave your comments in the comment section below. What do you think about the reception and the relationship? Might I add that when Elaine won the 200 now, there was no celebration there as well. No congratulation, no celebration. Unless I must have missed it. Okay? And we'll catch you on the next video with SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.